And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die. Hey, y'all come on in. You're here on a great day.
We have a brand new release today from Adopted Acres.
It's a beautiful morning with the Barbershop Duet.
Hi, I'm Marcus Klinger with Klinger Vocal Studio.
And I'm Sarah Vincent with Sarah Vincent Virtual Pilates.
But on Wednesdays and Saturdays,
we are the Barbershop Duet.
Hey, y'all come on in. Thank you for finding our little barbershop. If you happen to be here during one of the live premieres on YouTube, why, come on in the live chat. Meet the Whiff Pack, cool group of our friends from all over the world just hanging out, talking about all kinds of things. They'd love to meet you too.
They would. And for our mention today, Marcus would like to talk about some updates from Adopted Acres.
There is a new website that Doug has designed for Adopted Acres. They are transitioning away from their Etsy site slowly but surely. It's adoptedacressoapco.com. A beautiful layout, a great way to explore all the offerings that are going on right now from Adopted Acres. They are expanding their product line in leaps and bounds. And they are also partnering with our friend Gareth at the Shave Supply to offer a limited number of their releases there too. If you're on the West Coast, they get here basically before they leave. It's very cool. And what is our soap today?
We have Stillhouse Spice. It's a collaboration from Adopted Acres and Wesley Carroll. Let's meet it.
All right, y'all, from the sales page at, adoptedacressoapco.com.
Stillhouse Spice. Some scents don't just smell good, they tell a story. Growing up, there was one scent that always seemed to be around. My dad wore it, my grandpa wore it before him. If you opened the medicine cabinet, chances are there was a familiar bottle waiting inside. It became part of what home smelled like. When it came time to create a classic barbershop-inspired fragrance for Adopted Acres Soap Co., I knew I didn't want to simply recreate the past. I wanted to honor it while making it unmistakably our own. Then the perfect opportunity came along.
My friend Wes from 10SC Whiskey Shaving, whose YouTube channel has become a trusted source for outstanding shaving and fragrance reviews, shares my appreciation for great whiskey-inspired scents. The moment the idea of adding a smooth bourbon character to this timeless classic came up, I knew it had to become a collaboration. Together, we worked to find the right balance. Not too sweet, not too boozy, just enough bourbon to give this familiar classic new life.
The result is Stillhouse Spice, a warm, masculine fragrance where bright citrus and traditional barbershop spices open the shave before settling into smooth bourbon, seasoned oak, soft woods, vanilla, amber, and musk. The whiskey never steals the show. Instead, it adds richness and depth, like a well-aged bourbon resting quietly in a white oak barrel. It's the scent of hard work at sunrise, the smell of weathered barns and seasoned timber, the quiet satisfaction that comes after a long day's work.
It's a nod to generations before us while embracing the craftsmanship we strive for today. From our 5th-generation family farm in Asheville, Ohio, to your shave den, we are proud to share a fragrance that honors tradition without living in the past. Welcome to Stillhouse Spice. Now, I remember getting a very excited phone call from Doug Lane when they were conceiving this collaboration. The original scent that he is referencing on this sales page is Old Spice, specifically the original Scholten formula, something that has a very deep place in my heart because my grandparents, both grandfathers, smelled like Old Spice. And my favorite grandfather also routinely smelled a bourbon. Yeah. So putting those hands together, hey, let's unbox it. So this shipped on Wednesday afternoon, and it was at our front door on Friday morning. Yep. Here is the invoice from our friend Gareth at the Shave Supply. And a note! Thank you, Sarah. You guys are the best. I'll see you soon. Gareth, thank you, buddy.
Oh, we got
a sticker! I gotta love that. Oh, and look how beautifully these are packaged. Here is the soap. Let's take a look at this label. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that, y'all. And then on the back, our Grand Champion 2.0 sticker.
Oh, these are different packs now. Easy Ziploc version. Nice. I see.
And here is the splash bottle from Adopted Acres. There you go.
I like the graphics on there. It does have the Tennessee kind of thrown in there. It's their whiskey, but you can see the farm in the back.
Tennessee. I just got that.
Tennessee whiskey.
Well, they do know their whiskey down there. All right, y'all, come along with us for a first impression. All right, y'all, constant viewers will know that we have a handful of soaps that homage the original Shulton formula Old Spice, and I use them all in regular rotation, but only one I can think of where they've added something to the formula just about 50-50, and it's Oud Spice from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements with that beautiful oud note. And I love how that kind of breaks open the Old Spice scent for me, so I'm hoping this does the same thing in a very different way. All right, taking it in. Here we go, y'all. Oh, beautiful pour.
Okay.
Adopted Acres. All right. Oh, y'all, it breaks it open indeed. The funny thing is, I don't get a crazy wave of whiskey or bourbon. It's sitting under the Old Spice, but the way it breaks open the Old Spice is wild. It's as if something from the bourbon is reaching up into each scent note in the Old Spice and having a different effect on it. And it gives it a little bit more of a sweet character. I'm getting less of that sort of sandiness that I often get in Old Spice, and a little bit more of like the nutmeg heart of the original formula that I love so much. Gentlemen, fabulous work on this. Hold on a second. Oh, and y'all, the bourbon note does not dive into the heat of the alcohol. It dives into the spices of the bourbon. Both my dad and my grandpa were a bourbon and whiskey man, respectively. This is beautiful. Whoa. Well, bourbon itself can kind of have a little bit of a ness to it. You've seen that part of Three Amigos where they down the tequila. I have a similar reaction to bourbon, but this is different. This doesn't have the harsh side of it at all. It has the warm, inviting spice part of it to it. And those spices in the bourbon, like I said, are meeting with the spices in the Old Spice. This really does smell like my grandfather. I'm just saying.
I was going to ask you that. I'm curious.
Dude. And let's have a grown-up conversation. We have a giant bottle of the original Old Spice that was an inheritance from Sarah's grandfather, kept in the back of a closet here in the Bay Area so it never got too hot. And the scent for me is basically unchanged from what I remember my grandfather using. And all of the homages that I have smelled since have this kind of rocky, sandy thing at the bottom.
Okay.
This does not. This, to my nose, at least in the first few whiffs, is the closest Old Spice homage that I have yet smelled. But that whiskey is there. I would say about 15-20% of this is whiskey, but that's what I love. If you really were going to smell my grandfather, it was mostly Old Spice with a kick of bourbon. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, he is totally soused, and maybe yesterday he put on some Old Spice. Oh, nay. This is lovely.
So the ratio definitely makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't even think on a first whiff you'd identify this as having a bourbon undernote. I think it would just be like the spices in Old Spice have been magnified and sweetened with something a bit unknown. Woo!
Do you get any of the oak barrel that the bourbon's in? Like, is there woodsy stuff going on?
Yes. And you know what's interesting? One of our commenters was watching one of our videos where we recently mentioned that our CO2 extract of oak that we have in our perfumer's organ from Perfumer's Apprentice is created in whiskey oak barrels. So that's why it has a boozy note to it. So that's another reason why the addition of oak in this is incredible, because it also connects with the bourbon, but connects with the Old Spice as well. I feel like I need to go put on my Quint Jaws-inspired cap from Boston Scally again, because remember that scene where he was huffing Old Spice?
And on a wood boat and chugging alcohol. It all fits.
And they did use real whiskey on the set. For a few of those scenes, they didn't have their sea legs, but for a very different reason. You know how the original Old Spice just has this beautiful syrupy sweetness to it that's not totally devoid of a good bourbon? That's where this really plants its flag. Not in the rough side of Old Spice, but in the sweet, syrupy side. And you know what? Oak moss approved. I know there is oak moss in Old Spice, but I always use Old Spice as my example of where oak moss is used perfectly to kind of sit under and support the other scent notes. Beautifully done in here.
Do you still get that hidden, like, rose thing?
Yes.
That comes through in Old Spice?
That's part of the syrupy sweetness for me, is the floral that does sit beautifully inside of Old Spice, and it's here too. There's almost something outdoorsy about this that the whiskey note gives it. The grandfather who owned the ranch and did have the original Old Spice Shulton bottle in his medicine cabinet was not a drinker. I don't think I ever even saw him take a sip of wine at Christmas. So he just smelled like Old Spice.
Right.
But my other grandfather drank for both of them. He was the only guy I knew of that didn't drink rum and Coke. It was whiskey and Coke. You know what's cool is as well as we know Old Spice, we really do, I still can't get enough of smelling this. It's almost like hearing a cover of one of your favorite songs that's done even better than your favorite song. That's what this is doing. You know what I mean, right?
Hookah, 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 shaka.
There's even kind of a vanilla note for me that seems to bind and connect the Old Spice and the whiskey in like an ombre sort of pattern.
Ooh.
Very nice. Almost, I'm going to say it, like approaching kind of a gourmandy.
I was going to ask that, the way that you were kind of like explaining it at
in
least.
the middle of this, but we do drink whiskey, so that's gourmand,
it's kinda gourmand,
right? That's a gourmand. But they took the gore out of gourmand for this, I will tell you that.
It's not Halloween yet, so.
No. Although, I submitted a brief not long ago for the Halloween scent a-comin' from Adopted Acres, and it's gonna be fire in hearing how Doug Lane's gonna put it together. I can't wait to smell it. All right, I'm gonna pass it over. Yep, see what you think. Get your nose under this one.
I am all about the warm spices, so I'm actually very curious if they took the booziness out, if this will be more my kind of jam here.
And the heat's not coming from the alcohol. It's like opening up the warmness of the nutmeg, of the spices in the Old Spice. All right, take it in.
Because I don't reach to put any of the Old Spice homages on, but I enjoy smelling them on you. And we have the Cold Spices shampoo puck in the shower right now, and I really do enjoy using it. But it's not something that I'm going to leave the house wearing, if that makes sense. So I'm curious if this will kind of like disguise it enough that I can pull it off. So
that's a great shampoo bar for summer because that menthol hit on your scalp is delightful.
Oh, you're right. These blend together perfectly. I think if you didn't know that it was Old Spice and whiskey at all, like you would just enjoy how these are blending together. I don't think you would even look for that line to divide them at all.
Right.
I'm doing that nose thing where I swear one side smells like one versus the other. I don't know why my brain does this, but it works for what I need, okay?
How the Western Hemisphere of that soap will smell different than the Eastern Hemisphere of that soap for her nose, I have no idea. Maybe each nostril has a little bit of a different thing going on
Right, like
inside.
they have different pathways up to my brain. I don't know.
Who knows? But she has the superlative nose in this relationship. Everybody knows this.
I really am enjoying how the whiskey is having a moment to be more of a spice. Like the spices of whiskey are connecting to the Old Spice side. So it's almost like an herby dried spice that's like aged in the best way, but the booziness is not taking over the scent. Like I can barely tell it's in here. If you know what you're looking for, you'll find it immediately, but I'm not a big drinker. So to me, it just comes off more as like the drier, woodsier sides of those spices. Not quite gourmandy, but they ride that line of the sweeter herbs that are in there.
Not a big drinker. She hasn't had a sip since 2020. So there you go. At least that I know of. I'm going to go check her sock drawer for tequila bottles here. Excuse me for a second.
Sorry, guys. As I'm diving more in here, I'm really finding where they're intersecting and they're creating almost a whole brand new scent. I see what you mean by it riding that gourmandy line. It's not, but it's almost approaching a lactonic. I think that's the vanilla or like the froth on top of a drink. Like there's just something else in here that's like smooth and then rounding out the edges. It's way more palatable. Like if you were to throw this on and walk out the door and your kids were all in the living room, I don't think would be a deterrent. Where you could be more of a whiskey stuff, they're kind of like, what is it? This doesn't come off that way. So it's very crowd pleasing. And I think that's just how it's rounding out the two edges where they're intersecting.
Family friendly whiskey.
There you go.
Right here.
The whiskey's adding more depth to the scent than I think Old Spice has on its own. Like, it doesn't go as dark to me. So there's something here that's actually, with the whiskey side being more of a basement, like the woodsy kind of thing. It almost is like a cool part of the barn or something that this could be in for me. But the sweeter, gentle sides really add like a fresh breeze going by somehow. Right. It's not quite florally. It doesn't take off completely in the rose lane. It doesn't go too oak mossy. It just has a cleanliness to it. Like, it's not like an old danky barn. It's actually very well kept up.
That's the next soap I want to do with Doug Lane. Old Danky Barn.
It's cold to me. There's no menthol in this, but they somehow, like, it's either late at night or early in the morning. Like, there's no sun around. I don't know why, but it's really adding like a chill in the air somehow.
See, it's warm for me. Hold on, turn the tub. Maybe you'll get the warmth on the other side.
No, I'm not. You don't put ice in whiskey, do you? Because that'd be funny. But no.
You know, there is something called the angel's share. When you distill whiskey, a rather large percentage of it does have to evaporate in the process, and they call it the angel's share. So they do say that when you order a whiskey neat, have the bartender put a few drops of water in it or one solitary ice cube to unlock that whiskey sense and kind of put that water back into the whiskey, and I was a fan of doing that.
For me, there's just a chill in the air. It's not cold, like I don't need a winter jacket, but it's a cool time of day. So to me, if you're not a fan of how hot summer is, this might be a really fun escape.
Who is? Generally, our whiff pack first off reports on who's got the highest temperatures of the day during our summer premieres. Generally, Las Vegas wins with Georgia as kind of a second runner-up. 140 degrees in Sel's car last week. It's not a car, it's a crock pot.
I feel like there's something where they're intersecting that could almost be like if a guy just took a shower, did his shave, has the Old Spice on. There's something clean that could be like the hair pomade or something like where the herbs are intersecting and almost creating something new in the middle. And then the whiskiness is almost like he just poured it and he's ready to enjoy it. Right. But it has like a whole story. Like I know that was their goal, but it really is coming through during this whiff.
And what I love about Old Spice is it does have the richness and depth of like a super expensive cologne, but it was put together and created for the everyman for like $1 down at the A&P back in the day so that everybody could smell fantastic if they wanted to. Old Spice and Seaforth were generally duking it out on those levels, but both remain beloved, I think, for that reason.
So if someone isn't a giant fan of Old Spice, I think the whiskey helps bring it out in a whole new light. And other way around, if you're not a giant fan of the boozy whiskey things, you're safe because the Old Spice kind of fills in those blanks. Right. So it's way more crowd-pleasing than just reading the title. So I have to point that out.
Well, y'all come along with us. We're going to build a Grand Champion 2.0 lather and take another look at these scent notes. All right, y'all, from the sales page at adoptedacressoapco.com, we start with your top notes, and here they are.
Orange peel, bergamot, and warm clove.
That's beautifully descriptive. Old Spice is kind of an enigma for me. Like, what's it smell like? Who knows? It smells like my grandfather Reuben. But if you do break it down, you can get these individual pieces. Yeah. The orange is not like an orange juice at all.
No.
I do have a beard oil that smells like orange juice. This is orange peel, and it is kind of a very different waxy aldehyde-ish sort of beautiful warm orange. And then bergamot in a shave soap, which is kind of related to the orange, kind of more the inside, a little bit of a softer citrusy sense. And then warm clove. How are you getting the clove in
It's here, but it kind of pulls you immediately to the next layer of notes for me. So that spice, you had to have one at the top. But I think that's the secret weapon that kind of does make it more cozy, like you were saying, a comfy sweater. Like it just pulls you to the rest of the whiff.
You know what it is? It's like the clove inside of Coca-Cola. It's kind of that sweet, syrupy clove to me. Definitely warm.
All right, then we got some hard notes, y'all. Ready? Bourbon whiskey, cinnamon, which I think connects to the clove, carnation, and geranium. That's the clean, old spicy side.
And tell me that a nice bourbon whiskey might not be better with a little bit of a cinnamon note inside of it. And I think the reason my heart belongs to Old Spice is it's one of the only big scents that I know that relies on carnation as its heart and as its sweetness and as its floral.
Yeah.
Because that scent really makes me think of my dad. In the 1980s and 70s, carnations were the defining flower of the funeral home. Every single arrangement that came in and out of his door was basically carnation based. So when you walked in, you did smell the beautiful smell of brand new wool carpeting. Well, it was the 70s. And carnation. And then my dad's Old Spice and his boss's Burma shave. Like that's what the funeral home smells like to me. So the scent of carnation does have a deep nostalgic place for me. It's like going to work with Dad Day. Oh, there's a second flower here, geranium.
Yeah, I think that adds the clean side because when I took a whiff, I was like, there's something in the middle that not quite barbershoppy, but it really does clean up, and I think that's part of it.
And it doesn't go all the way to jasmine. It's not that kind of a flower.
Almost masculine.
More the outskirts of that little white floral that we all love so much. And then the base, here's your oak. That's why this is inspired. Oak barrel and a nice creamy sandalwood. I wonder if this is where you were getting the lactonic kind of idea from.
Oh, see, but that's next to vanilla and amber and tonka bean. So all of those friends together, they're not lactonic, but they could approach something kind of close if you want them to be.
Is there vanilla in Old Spice, or is that a Doug Lane edition? I'm not sure. We'll have to look it up and get back to you.
It works, whatever it is.
But it's turned up in here beyond what it normally would be in Old Spice. It's about 2 to 3 times more powerful for me, that vanilla note at the bottom of this. Beautiful. And that meets with the tonka bean, which has a little bit of a vanilla kind of nest to it, along with the beautiful coumarin undertow, because there is coumarin in tonka bean. And then let's talk about amber, which you are a fan of.
I am. But in here, it almost leads to the hue of the whiskey. Like there's something that throws it back to more of that kind of a tone for me. But it's really enjoyable here. It's just a gentle, like, exit whiff at the end.
We have a fly in here, but we are doing a soap that was made on a farm, so maybe he knows.
There you go. There's a cow picture on there.
That's what it is. That's drawing him in. And then a fabulous kind of sweet musk.
Yes.
To grounding this. Not really a clean laundry musk, but something almost a little bit more farm-like almost.
Right, but almost like you said, a carton sweater. Like it's something about that, like that cozy kind of musky scent.
All right, y'all. And in honor of my grandfather drinking whiskey and Coke, I decided to grab my brand new Coca-Cola brush that Craig made me from Opus Brush. It was a custom order in celebration of my 50th birthday to help remember my room growing up, which was done in Coca-Cola. All right, I'm just going to grab a little of this. I know, look at that, and put it into the ridges of my Captain's Choice copper bowl. I love this thing, y'all, and they are not charging nearly enough for these. Go check them out on the Captain's Choice website. They are handmade and beautiful. There are even some videos there of them being forged and made.
As I'm looking at this, I'm not reading oak moss, but there's oak barrel, so there's an oak something.
Oh, you're right. Now, I know there is oak moss in the original Old Spice, but maybe because Doug and Wesley love me, they took out the oak moss in this
so
formula.
Considerate.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sean and Julie, for our bougie sprayer. It has remained a fabulous partner for us over the last few years, and I'm just going to start drawing that soap up onto the bristles, just letting them get a little bit wet from that water at the bottom of the bowl. This is a synthetic knot on this brush, and I think I actually prefer synthetic knots. Put your admonitions in the comments. I know. Doug Lane has gotten a reputation as being the mad scientist in the wet shaving world of being able to put an incredible balance of ingredients together to make a soap base that's just about unmatched. It is in my top 3 favorites in the entire wet shaving world. Due to the fact that Lainey is a 10-year-old, the SAG regulations will not allow her to make more than 2 episodes a week. So she's taking her break on her union cot. Y'all, look at this. I know we never talk about lather.
Never.
Here in the Barbershop Duet, but are you kidding me? It's beautiful. And this is something you will only find here in the Barbershop Duet. This is the Hooper drives the boat with on 3, 1, 2. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm still getting it in just about the same balance I am in the soap. It's just a little bit more spread out between the notes. I'm going to say it. I think this might be my favorite Old Spice homage in the wet shaving world. There's just something beautiful about how it doesn't have that sort of sandy, rocky note to it at all that I find in most of the others.
It's more a cozy scent somehow.
It is. Yeah, that's a great word for it.
But it makes sense that if it reminds you of your grandpa, it's just that like content kind of a thing that comes with it.
Right. And we do love watching our 10SC whiskey shaving videos, but we don't do shaving here in the Barbershop Duet. But we thought you might like to see what this lather looks like when it coats and covers a moneymaker and gets it ready for your razor to go ice skating. Look at this, y'all. Would you like a little bit of this?
I would.
So thick and padded, but so light on the skin, you'd barely know it was there.
It has a very, like, personable kind of thing somehow. Like, I feel like I'm smelling somebody that I know when I get a whiff of this, or like somebody walked by. I'd want to know that person. There is just something intriguing in a fun way, even though there's scents that you know, but how they're blending together changes that.
One of the saddest things for me is that you never got to know my grandfather, Reuben. You got to know his wife, my Nana, but you did not get to know Grandpa.
I wish.
He was one of my absolute best friends growing up. We used to go on so many adventures.
I love all the stories. I feel like I've met him, but I wish I really could have.
I used to pull the car up to his house 1 o'clock in the morning and blare the horn and be like, get in the car, we're going to the Lake Tahoe. And he'd cock his hat, walk down the front steps, and get in the car. And I'd say, aren't you going to tell Nana? And he'd say, oh, she'll figure it out. All right, y'all, well, come along with us. We're going to take this down just a little bit deeper and see what other surprises we can find in the splash. You know, let's do something here. This is so close to me to the original. Let's do something we rarely do. Let's compare it to the OG. Look how cool this decanter is, y'all, the telescope thing. All right, here we go. I'm going to take this off. You take that off. And 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
That's magical.
Okay,
That's
the cloves and the spices are talking to me there.
Okay, ready? Oh, see, now I can really sense the oak and the whiskey, how they're sitting in here. But the Old Spice part is incredibly similar. Whoa, it's almost like they just added whiskey and oak to that.
Well, and to me, the more that this has aged over time, it does have more of a boozy kind of hit, which is cool at the end of the whiff, which blends perfectly with what the whiskey does there.
Yeah, and I am getting a little bit more of the whiskey and oak in this than I was getting in the soap. Hold on a second. I'm going to spray a little bit of that on there. And then onto there. Oh, Oh, I love how those two scents are pulling against each other, the whiskey side and the Old Spice side. There's like a little tug of war going on.
The carnation, even
Yep,
with the tonka
yep.
beans, the warmed clove, and like the barrel side are even talking to me more. The whiskey's here, but it almost made everybody around it have a little bit more of a voice as it's drying down.
Yeah, the lactonic vanilla part is a little bit more prominent in the soap, but the carnation part is a little bit more prominent in the splash, and I am happy about that.
I'm really getting like the building or the barrels or something about like the actual place a little bit more too.
Right.
I get the orange peel next to the carnation. And then it goes into like the spices for me.
Right.
After smelling the splash, I would definitely wear the splash more than I thought I would. Like most of the other ones are all Old Spice and more masculine. This one, because of the warmer spices, really helps. In the lather, it's more of that whiskey kind of hit for me, like once we added water. But the way that this formula is drying down on my face, I'm getting more of the spices and the sweeter sides on my skin.
And it is absolutely that 80s, a little bit more potent than they are now, carnation, floral scents from the funeral home that I remember from back in the day. I know that we do get some comments that we like everything, but y'all, I'm not really comparing these soaps to each other.
No.
I'm comparing them to driving that van for my dad's funeral home with the windows up when it was raining for over 10, 15 years. These are therapy for my nose. I think it's kind of like music too. The more I learned about music, the more I really did like everything that I heard. I may not have a CD of atonal music in my car or Tibetan throat singing or anything like that, but I do appreciate those types of music too. The same way I appreciate pretty much every shaving soap that's ever crossed our threshold, except for our iffy soap series on Instagram and the occasional cucumber fumbler.
But to me, there's a time and a place, or there's like a moment that's caught in time a lot with these shave soaps, and it just takes us to that place or to get to know that person. It may not be the first one we reach for, but we understand its purpose and why it was created in the first place.
So it's pretty simple, y'all. Just be my grandfather Reuben on the week of my 21st birthday, taking me down to his beloved American Legion Hall to belly up to the bar and try pretty much anything I wanted to try. And he's going to sit down on his favorite stool and immediately order 2 whiskey and cokes, and then look at me and say, no, those are both for me. What do you want, kid? And I was going to get my own. So head over to adoptedacressoapco.com to find this and all kinds of other cool stuff. Well, I've had my shave, y'all, with Stillhouse Spice, and as soon as we shot the episode, I had the full intention of calling Doug Lane and telling him I think the whiskey note is exactly what Old Spice needed to make it a little bit more balanced and a little bit more modern. And as soon as I picked up the phone and mentioned, hey, we just shot this episode, he goes, don't you think that whiskey note is what Old Spice needed to make it a little bit more balanced, a little bit more Yes! Yes, and look at my face, one of the top 3 bases for me in the entire wet shaving world. There was something about Adopted Acres tallow that makes it a little bit more slick, a little bit more protective, but somehow a little bit more nourishing than I generally experience, even from my favorite tallow soaps. Thank you, Adopted Acres and Wesley Carroll. We will be back soon. Hey, welcome to Messages.
So for our August giveaway, we wanted to give you a chance to get $25 to Adopted Acres.
That's right, y'all. You can pick this one up for yourself, and all you have to do to be eligible for this giveaway is send us an email. Here to we sent you at thebarbershopduet.com so that we can get back to you. It's the only way we communicate about our giveaways, and then check back here on our first September episode to see if you are our lucky winner.
Best of luck.
Well, Doug, Wes, for me, I want to say thank you for adding something to Old Spice that in an interesting way helps me appreciate and break open the original scent that I love so much in a different way so that I can experience it from a different vantage point, and making those whiskey and oak notes so beautiful and such a fabulous bedfellow to the original Old Spice that this is probably my favorite Old Spice homage in our catalog, and I never saw that one coming. Beautiful, gentlemen.
I really thought this was going to be more of just a mashup, not in like just a mashup, but like we're okay, you can smell both sides and it's good things in there. But I have to say, it's almost where they're intersecting for me. It's creating a whole new experience, which is thoroughly enjoyable. Don't forget your next appointment with the Barbershop Duet.
You'll smell more nostalgic just watching this.